Hello, and welcome to another episode of S&C's Adventures. On today's episode, we're going to be planting our seeds that need to be started indoors before going outside to be planted in the garden. We have a couple different trays here that we will go ahead and fill. I'll go over the instructions for how these specific ones need to be filled and what we're supposed to do with them. I'll also go over the plants that we are currently planting and then the plants that we will have in the garden that can get started outside once the final frost has happened. So we'll go over all of that as well. So to kind of get started, the plant kits that we have is the Seed Starting Pro Hex kit. We have two of them. And it holds 72 cells. So it's got 72 different little cells in them that you can go ahead and plant in. It comes in a tray that you can go ahead and add water to so that it is also catching the water that your plants are not absorbing into the soil, but also it has some water underneath it so that if one of them is dry but the others aren't, it has a little bit of water to share with them. And then it also comes with a plastic lid that you put on top of them as well to basically make like a little greenhouse. So for this, it's perfect for flowers, vegetables, and herbs. Colvin went ahead and picked these ones up because it says great for beginners as well. And this is something new that we are starting. Last year, I planted some herbs out on our front porch. I didn't really do too much work inside. They started maybe a week, and then I moved them outside, and they all except for I think one produced while outside. So I was pretty happy with that. And we had enough that his sister dried some of the herbs out at the end of the season and went ahead and made either salts for us, or she just made the dried herbs for us. So we're hoping to continue that this year because we're going to have an outdoor greenhouse as well. So some of the stuff that we are going to start after we are into the planting season, those are actually going to go in our greenhouse and get started in our greenhouse to see how that goes, and so that we have something to put in there to get started. So as far as these, so our planting instructions, so the first one is you're going to prepare the soil. So you fill a large bucket with soil, add water as needed, making sure the soil is well saturated but not soggy, and then also using a high quality seed starting mix to get that all started. So I went ahead and already mixed ours up. I've got our bucket, I've got our soil in it already, so that's ready to go. After you create that, our next step is to prepare the trays. You fill the cell inserts with saturated soil mix. While in the trays, best practice is to cover the insert with soil and then smooth over with a trowel to remove any excess. So we will be doing that. Our next step is to add the seeds. We want to add 2 to 3 seeds per cell, following seed packet directions. And then we're going to add the dome, placed in a warm location out of direct sunlight. And we want to keep the soil moist until first sight of germination for the plants. Our fourth step is the germination step. We allow plants to germinate fully, removing the dome after leaves appear. Place in a sunny location and keep moist, but don't overwater. If seedlings start getting long and leggy, supplement sunlight with a grow light. Our fifth step is removing the seedlings. Once danger of frost has passed, harden off and separate and transplant outdoors. To remove seeds, you just pinch the lower part of the cell and they pop right out. So you can literally just pop them out by squeezing it. Cool. Awesome. And then our last one is the transplant itself. We're going to dig holes that are just deep enough to cover the top of the root ball. Follow the seed packet for spacing instructions, and then carefully place the seedling root ball in a hole and press in gently, and then you water. So, obviously, we're not going to get to all of that in our first video. Some of this is going to be in about a month or so, but we're going to go ahead and get all the way up to adding our seeds and putting that into a location where, number one, the cats can't get it, and number two, so that it can go ahead and start growing our little plants so that we are ready for that germination step. So for our trays, I'll go over the seeds that we're going to use in the trays. We did already go ahead and label some plant labelers. These ones are reusable. You just stick them in the soil and then you can wipe off and reuse them. But that way I can go ahead and start labeling them so I know which ones are which. So I'll go over what I have currently. Sorry, the cats are really interested in this video, I guess. You get out, bud. Thank you. All right. So we have a mixture of seeds. We got some at like Target. We got some at Walmart. We got some from Colvin Sister. We just kind of got them from a little bit of everywhere. So as far as seeds go, I don't think that there's any one place to get them. Just get what you want to eat. That's what we've learned. So for our kind of tomato section, we got some Mammy Brown's tomatoes. We also got 2 packages of red cherry tomatoes. We have a thing of the San Marzano tomatoes. And then we also have Brad's Atomic Grape tomatoes. So those are all of our tomatoes. Then we have our peppers. So we have some cayenne thin chili peppers. We've got 2 packets of those. And then we've got some sweet red bell peppers. We couldn't find any green bell peppers. The only bell peppers that we could find, we couldn't even find orange or yellows either, just the red. So we're going to be looking for more of those. We might have to buy actual started plants in order to plant some green peppers for us. But if we have to do that, that's perfectly fine. And then we have a couple broccolis that we're going to plant. We've got some cauliflower, and then we've got some Brussels sprouts. The Brussels sprouts are for Colvin. I do not like Brussels sprouts, but he loves Brussels sprouts. So we've got those for him. We've got 2 different kinds of watermelons to try. We have the Crimson Sweet and then the Sugar Baby. So we're going to get those started today as well. And then we have kind of our herbs section. So we have our microgreens, rainbow mix. We've got 2 packages of those. We'll go ahead and start. We've got thyme. We've got rosemary. We've got sage. We have lavender. And then lastly, we have spearmint that we're going to go ahead and start today. And the last little bit that we have, so we have 2 things of red burgundy onion, and we have a thing of celery that we're going to go ahead and get started as well. So that's everybody that's going to get started in our little enclosures. As far as the plants that we have aside from that, there's a lot. But I thought that there was going to be more that needed to be started, and there wasn't as many as I thought there was going to be. So to kind of start, we've got some pumpkin seeds. Colvin's sister gave us some sugar pie pumpkin seeds to get started. We've got a couple of Big Macs pumpkins, and then also jack-o'-lantern pumpkins to get started for those. Again, we're not going to start any of these ones until after we start everything outside. Then we have honeydew melons. We've got cantaloupe. We've got a lot of carrots. And we also have quite a few sweet corns. Then we have our green beans and peas. So we've got garden beans. We've got a couple of them string beans. We've got a couple of sugar snap peas. We've got some tender green bush beans. We've got some lettuce, arugula, and spinach. So we'll get all of those started, like I said, after the last frost. And then lastly, other than our herbs, we've got cucumbers. We have a couple different kinds. We've got the Straight 8 Heirloom. We've got Pickle Bush. We've got Burpless Beauty. And then we have Armenian cucumbers as well. And then some herbs that we're going to be planting in the garden that don't need to be started until after the last frost. We have lemon balm, basil, chamomile, cilantro, dill, parsley, and oregano. So those will get started after the frost as well. And lastly, we have what is going to be started in our greenhouse automatically. Like I said, we're going to try growing things in the greenhouse to see how they grow compared to starting the seedlings inside and then moving them outside. Also, we want to be able to have some things year round. So some of our plants that are in our garden that we use a lot of, we're probably going to try and transition into the greenhouse closer to the end of the season so we can kind of keep them going. But things that we're automatically going to start in the garden or in the greenhouse is the a couple packages of the microgreens, some chives, some cat grass for the cats, a different type of chives, chamomile, rosemary, parsley, sage, spearmint, basil, lemon balm, and another thing of spearmint because I like spearmint in my like waters and stuff like that. So we'll go ahead and start those in the greenhouse as soon as we have that all put up and everything. I'm sure you guys will be seeing a video of us finishing up the garden as well as getting the garden started for the year, and then also putting up the greenhouse in general. So that's pretty much it for our like edible plants. We do have quite a bit of wildflowers that we want to plant this year. Our goal is to eventually get some beehives and be able to make honey products and things like that. So we've got quite a few wildflower types. So we've got some cut flower mix wildflowers. We've got some fragrant mix, hummingbird mix, perennial mixture, more cut flowers, hummingbird, fragrant, perennials. We've got some firecatcher sunflowers and then also some mammoth sunflowers. I have not had luck with sunflowers, but Colvin is determined to get some sunflowers for me. Usually they grow well, they do great, and then once I have to tie them to anything or they start kind of getting too heavy, and I try to kind of like get them to stay up, they just die. I don't know. I've tried tying them looser. They snap if I don't tie them tight enough. Everything like that. It's just a whole thing for me, and they just don't grow well for me. So Colvin said that he was going to try to grow me some sunflowers because I really like sunflowers, and I wish that we had a giant patch of sunflowers because I would use that. Also, sunflower seeds. There's so many things you can do with that sunflower. So those are our seeds, and then we did get a giant bag. I got this one because I saw it and I said automatically it says Honeybee Garden and it's all wildflower mixes, and I said, you know what, we need this. We really want to attract bees and try and get hives started at some point. So we're gonna probably sprinkle this in an area in the back of the property, whereas the other flowers are gonna be sprinkled in the front of the property. So that is all of our plants. I'm going to go ahead and start doing our process with all of our little planters here. So what I will do is start with, like I said, adding the soil and then going from there with flattening them out. I do have a couple things of sweet potatoes as well, sweet potato starters that we're going to go ahead and plant. Those probably are either going to be planted in a bucket or we're going to have to wait until later to plant those just because they are bigger. We've never tried to plant any potatoes or anything like that before, so it'll be a learning experience. Hopefully they produce something for us, but if not, like I said, it's a learning experience, so we'll kind of go from there as far as kind of trying to do better the next year. All right, so I've got my moistened soil here. We're going to go ahead and just kind of do this a little bit by hand. Let me shake it down a little bit. Okay. And I'm just going to kind of crinkle it over everything. Gotta love the free 5-gallon buckets or, 5-gallon buckets from anywhere. I cannot tell you how many 5-gallon buckets my parents have. Colvin's got a bunch of them. They're super useful. And anytime that they're like the free buckets or have the sales where it's like whatever you can fit in the bucket is, you know, a certain price or a percentage off or anything like that. Amazing deals. Go ahead and grab them. You'll use them eventually for something or other. Like I said, we might end up using ours for some potatoes. So we've already got that all set for the year. We don't have to worry about getting them, you know, around the time when most people are buying them. So that'll be nice. You guys will probably be seeing a video here shortly of us going to the Maple Festival. We're going to be going to that tomorrow and going to be checking that out. We'll probably be doing a couple videos while we're there, either taste testing or just kind of showing you around and what we did and things like that. So be looking forward to that as well. We've never gone to the Maple Festival before, and we went to a couple new festivals last year that neither one of us had ever been to. The Covered Bridge Festival is one of the big ones we went to. And we talked about it. We were like, you know what? We should go to more like festivals and stuff. Why don't we go? Like, yeah, you don't have to buy stuff if you go. So, you know, we went to quite a few and we enjoyed a lot of them. There's a lot of different stuff at all of them. So we're going to be checking those out more this year as well. My mom sent me a link to it and let me know that that was going to be coming up. So when we saw that, we were both like, let's go. So the soil and stuff we're using is the Burpee natural and organic seed starting mix. This is the one that Colvin picked out for us. Not gonna lie, probably because this is coconut on there. It says coconut core controls moisture with coconut core, so he really likes coconut. So that might be why, or he might have done some research and found out that this was good. I'm not really sure, but this is what he brought home for me to mess with. So I just went ahead and added a little bit more water to our seed starter soil here, or seed starter mixture, I guess, technically. so I'm going to go ahead. I went ahead and smoothed everything over. And then I'm going to go ahead and stick labels in as I'm putting the seeds into them. For right now, I think I'm going to put the label and then whatever kind of goes up and down from there until the next one is going to be the same thing. So our first one is the Mammy Brown's tomatoes. This one, we're going to go ahead and put each seed about a quarter of an inch deep. And then we want to make sure that we keep it moist. And then these should emerge in about 7 to 10 days at about 70 to 75 degrees Fahrenheit. Little man's gonna help me plant some seeds now. So, what you doing, buddy? You coming to help mom? I don't want to rip the instructions because I was going to write everything down that we had this year and keep track of on a little calendar when things should be coming up. What are you eating? Are you eating dirt? That's gross. Why are you eating dirt? No, do not eat the dirt. Go. He's not the brightest, if I'm being honest, but he's really cute. We've got our cherries. These ones, we want to start 2 to 3 seeds per starter pot indoors, 4 to 6 weeks before transplanting. Then we want to thin them to 1 plant per pot before transplanting in general. Last of the grape tomatoes. Now we've got the San Marzano. All right, these ones are going to take about 6 to 8 weeks for these. Okay, then the last thing of tomatoes is our Brad's Atomic Grapes. These ones are also going to take about 6 to 8 weeks before planting outdoors, but about 7 to 10 days in 70 to 75 degree temperature to start merging. All right. So I've got all of our tomatoes done in one tray. I'm going to add a little bit more of the soil on top not too much, but some of them are a little hollowed out now. So I'm going to add a little bit of that to kind of cover up the seeds a little bit more as well. All right. So we're going to go ahead, now that our tomatoes are done and I topped them, we're going to go ahead and put the plastic greenhouse portion on them. With this, I am going to have to like kind of figure out where the little tags need to go down to because they're a little tall. Yeah, they're a little tall for these. So I might actually have to kind of angle them maybe. Well, it's not exactly going to work either. Okay. All right. We're going to have to cut these a little bit because they are not going to fit otherwise. And I want to make sure that everything is labeled so that I know exactly what everything is. So I need to get our heavy duty cutting scissors. Okay. I don't want to cut them that short. That one was a little short. Nope. Okay, let's try those. There we go. Oh gosh. Okay. Okay. Just confirming. So we're preparing the soil, prepare the trays, add the seeds, and then add the dome and put in a warm location. So I'll have to put this one up once I'm done with the second one. We do have to put them somewhere where the cats can't get them because this is a little flimsy and the cats will absolutely try to climb all over this. So we are going to have to keep them up on top of a cabinet for now. And then once we need to take the lids off and put them more in the sun, that's going to be something where we're going to have to figure out a good spot. Like I said, because the cats are going to try to lay on them or eat them. As you can see, little man tried to eat the soil. So that's what we're dealing with. But I'm going to go ahead and plant some of our other ones. I may mix it up a little bit because I do think we're going to need more trays. So I might do a mix and match instead of the order that I went in, just because that way I know that there's like even amounts. So I'm not having, a bunch that I have half in one tray and half in another. So I'll go ahead and do the peppers and then go from there. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and pre-cut these guys. Better in stereo. Okay. We're starting with big red. Then we'll also plant the cayenne pepper ones. All right, so big red sweet bell peppers. This one will take about 8 weeks before planting outdoors, about 10 to 21 days to emerge from the soil. And like I said, I'm keeping all of the seed packets so that I can go ahead and write down everything. Oh, that flung somewhere that I don't know where it is. So we might end up with a random pepper plant somewhere. All right, for the cayenne pepper, we're going to plant 2 to 3 seeds per starter and let that be indoors for about 8 weeks before we transplant outside once it reaches about 3 inches. All right, we've got our peppers done. Okay, so they go all the way down to here. So I'm gonna skip over the broccoli and cauliflower because I have a lot of that. And I'm gonna skip down here probably to the onions and celery and do those ones. All right, for our red burgundy onion, we're going to start these 8 to 10 weeks before transplanting outdoors. And then you do want to clip the plants once they're outside. So we'll go over more of that later. But we want to do. Yeah, it looks like you can also go ahead and just start these outside. So that's good to know as well. Don't have a whole lot of space left like I thought. So I'm going to skip the second pack of onions since it says we can start these outside. And I'm going to try starting 1 pack outside and starting 1 in here. And then our last one that I'm going to do in this tray is the celery. I'll have to get more trays and then give you an update once those are done as well. But I'll go ahead and start the celery. All right, and for this, we want to do about 8 to 10 weeks before the last frost indoors. We're a little late for that one, but it's fine. We'll go ahead and get these planted in here. These are tiny. All right. Go ahead and toss those, take those off, and go ahead and put the lid on this one as well. Okay. All right, that one is on as well. So we do have seeds that we're going to still have to plant tomorrow. I'll probably have to buy. That probably will be all one. That's probably. I'll probably need at least 2 or 3 more. So we'll have to get that for tomorrow, and I'll finish them tomorrow. And then we'll get them all put up tonight for these ones. And then, like I said, I'm keeping all of the packages so that I can write everything down in a seed tracker book or on a calendar so that I know when each thing needs to come out. So I will have all of that information. I'll go ahead and get these put up. But that is today's episode of SNC's Adventures. Thank you for watching me. And Biggs wants to say hi too. Thank you for watching me plant my seeds for the summertime. I'm going to, like I said, go ahead and put these in our spot for them. And then I'll probably do a update of me doing more seeds tomorrow. So thank you for watching SNC's Adventures. We'll see you in the next episode.